I'm busy, darling.
Yeah.
Send me a picture.
Sorry, babe. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I should have replied immediately. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, sorry.
Right.
I'll expose you, mate. I'll be like, he's a simp. He's a simp. Look at him.
I caught him wanking in the toilets.
Caught him sending topless selfies to this bird he's not even dating.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. Get the lighting right. I don't have my cushion.
That'll do numbers, mate.
I'm going to start messaging girls. I studied, bro. I knew what picture you'd like. I studied, bro.
How did you know, Chris? How did you know what I like? I studied, bro.
I studied, bro.
Nothing else. No kisses,
Just
nothing.
everything.
Yeah.
Thanks for booking the restaurant. I studied, babe.
Fucking hell, mate.
Mate, one thing I want to ask you, because I think we're both going through the same thing right now. Well, you more so than me, because you actually got people to provide for.
Yeah.
But the older I get, the more it's hitting me, the more it's like, it's always been simpy in this industry. People have always said it's simpy to pay for a woman, to provide for a woman, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a built-in desire that I think if you can't do, you start to feel less than. And I had a neighbor who was, so I won't go into detail because people actually know who it is. Even though, like, he's died now, so I might be able to get away with this actually, but I don't want like family members to know. But my best friend who died, it was his dad. I used to work for him on site. Alpha male, real aggressive guy, big, like, masculine guy. And he had a stroke, which was brought on from stress of obviously his son dying and stuff like that. And he could no longer like do the things that he used to do. He used to say like he felt worthless. It got to the point where he would walk around the roads trying to find like builders that were building like driveways. And he was like, can I do some wheelbarrowing for you? It got to that point.
Damn.
And when you see that, you go, wow, it's like a built-in male desire to just want to provide, want to do something for their woman and stuff like that. Go into detail some of the things that you told me before about like how you feel, the passion, like the raw emotion for like wanting to provide for your kids, your woman, stuff like that, especially, just the family unit and stuff like that. And I'll shed some light on what I feel as well.
Yeah, I'll be interested to hear your take on it, mate, because obviously you don't have a woman per se to provide for, but I know you're still very much the providing mindset. But for me, yeah, it's just this unshakable desire that you can't articulate it or really put it into words. It just burns. Like you wake up and you look at your family and you're like, all right, I need to do something today. So there's very few times where I'm sitting down on the sofa and I feel relaxed, because I'm like, I should be doing something. And my wife sometimes tells me, she's like, just relax, like, switch off. But as men, we can't a lot of the time. It's impossible. Like, I remember being on my honeymoon and I was in Mauritius and it was absolutely beautiful. And I had an amazing time. But there were times where I was at dinner and I was like, I should be doing something. Like, I want this to be our reality all the time. Like, we can come here all the time. How can I do it? What can I do? How can I make this happen for my wife? And it's like, we didn't even have a kid then, And this was obviously just after our wedding. But that desire for me was there. When you find the right partner, it almost 10x's overnight. If that's another thing you guys consider, if you are dating a girl for a long time and you don't have a desire to provide for her or make a life with her, if that light switch isn't on, question it. Like, why don't I want to provide for this woman? Because as a man, that is in you. Like, you just have to bring it out. It's like in the Matrix when Morpheus knows Neo is the one.
Yeah. And
he knows it. He doesn't, but Neo doesn't believe it yet. But he just has to bring it out. And then at the end, when he obviously,
I love that scene.
You know what I mean? He sees all the code.
Yeah.
And then Neo,
what's he doing?
Yeah, he realizes, and Morpheus is like, he's the one. Like, that's what it's like. It's almost like you realize, I'm the one that's going to provide for my family. It sounds like a silly analogy, but it is like something just flicking in you, and you're just like, oh, okay. Now I get why my dad did 4 jobs.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Why my dad was a firefighter, a marshal at Silverstone, a wedding DJ, and a window cleaner.
Yeah.
To provide for us back in the late 80s and 90s as kids. And it's like, you don't understand it then. You can't conceptualize it as a kid. But my mum was always happy. And my dad obviously raised us well and stayed with her. And as I said earlier, but they've been together 37 years, so he must have been doing something right. So he was looking after her, but also he was a present dad and a present husband. And that's providing your energy to your wife. You not just have to provide financially, you have to provide your energy to her. But In regards to providing for your family financially, the desire, it just turns on. Like it's not something you nurture, in my opinion. It's not something that you control. One day you wake up and you just feel different because maybe something's happened in your relationship, or you've realized that she is the one you want to be with, and you're like, all right, I just feel different today, like I'm ready to go and get after it.
Do you remember when that was for you?
Yeah, I think for us it was probably, or for me, it was probably around 2016 when we just moved into our flat, and I had more bills to pay, but I was like we've got a place now, and I've got everything I want right now at that age. I had a good job. I was working for BMW. I was like, I want to climb the ladder at the time. I didn't think about entrepreneurship. Like I said, I was a late starter in entrepreneurship, but my mind, I was like, I can climb the corporate ladder and provide more. And then eventually I did. I was like a senior manager, and I had a 5 Series company car, and I was going to work in a suit every day. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, that's as good as I can provide right now. But I didn't just kind of hit there or get to that level, hit that point and go, I'm done now. I'm content now. Like the desire keeps burning. You don't have to get to a point where you burn yourself out and mentally drive yourself insane trying to do something, but you're always looking for levels or ways to kind of spice things up, or just provide. It doesn't have to be financial. Like I said, it can provide entertainment to your wife, or provide humor to your wife, or something like that. Because providing is a broad relative term to everyone's individual scenario. It doesn't just have to be finances. So if you can't provide financially at this point, provide in another way. But the desire to provide financially will get stronger as you kind of mature and really sort of turn into a man and peak. And as you spoke about, like male advantage, when you get to that point, it's like the desire is like stronger than ever, like I'm at now, So yeah, I could talk about it for a lot longer, mate, but it's not something that can be trained or taught. And like I said, if you can't provide financially now, just think of ways you can do it to enhance your relationship. And if you don't have the desire to provide in any way, shape or form, she's probably not the one for you. If you've been like past the 6-month mark, past the year mark, and you're just like, don't really want to change my job, don't really want to start a business, don't really want to work hard in my business, don't really want to get fitter, don't really want to try and take her out on dates and surprise her, you're kind of just neutral. It's like, yeah, she's probably not the one for you.
That's what it is, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean?
Honestly, it's so weird because people would call it simpy, but it's like a desire to want to do. It's not a desire to buy them. That's not what you're doing. It's not a desire like,
I'm going to buy them.
I'm going to buy you. I'm good enough broke.
Yeah.
If I lived in a cardboard box, I'd still, well, that's probably a bit far, but like if I was just a normal guy with normal whatever, I'd still be like, I'm a good man. I could do a lot of things for you. But it's like a desire to want to do cool shit or want to do nice things, but with that person.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, you've got loads of friends, but there's that one friend where like an event pops up and you're like, I know exactly who I want to come with you. I know exactly who I want to, I want to go and meet up with that person. I haven't seen anybody in a while. I want to do something. You're like, boom, straight on the phone to that person. It's the same with that woman. As a certain woman where you go, like, this has always been my big distinction between women, that I know I like her if there's this one distinction, which is I can see myself spending weeks with you uninterrupted. It's always a thing where it's like, and it's not like, oh, we've had sex, now you leave. But that's a factor too. But it's more so, in like a more of a gentleman sense of like, I want to go and do loads of stuff with you repeatedly. And I want to be around you. She's the type of human being that you don't get annoyed by. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of women that I can do 2-3 days with, I'm drained and I'm like, I need a break. Whereas there's other women who you go, she sat quietly doing her thing, I'm sat quietly doing my thing, and I'm really content. I'm happy for you to be around. That's probably one of the biggest signs that she's going to be something I want to be with.
That's a serious test. If you can go away somewhere and spend a day in a city that you're unfamiliar with, then spend a week in a city that you're unfamiliar with, and see how you get on. If you're content in each other's presence in an unfamiliar place where you don't know where to go and you're just kind of like happy just to be with each other, you don't need entertainment, you don't need restaurants, you don't need the familiarity. It's like, oh, okay, there's something here. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, and going back to what we were saying, if you guys are not having a desire to provide, if you're continuing to work on yourself and, attract higher value women and you're still not getting that desire to provide, it's like, it's not necessarily a you problem. It could just be that you're trying to force things, as we said earlier. and you are kind of looking through sort of rose tinted glasses a little bit because you think you've progressed, you deserve this kind of woman, you need to force things now. It's like, no, just let it happen. And when you get that desire to provide, when you do meet the right woman, because you just let it happen and you're like, right, I've worked on myself, I deserve this now, but I'm just going to let the universe decide when she walks into my life. If she walks into your life at the age of 32 or even 35, so what, right? You've still got years, fucking decades ahead of you. Do you know what I mean? To build this empire.
Do you feel like it's like a raw, primitive, built-in desire? Like, we can't invade a country anymore and just start chopping everyone's head off.
No empires anymore.
We don't have that anymore. Our empire is whatever the fuck we build as a business or whatever. Like, every man's house is his castle. That's what it is now. There's no such thing as like an empire and an army and some of that anymore. It's just like you have your little unit and whatnot. And I feel like our idea of war now is going out to the office and crunching all day and be like, I'm going to make it happen. And then coming home and be like, I've brought some money back for you guys.
Yeah.
I've made it work. And there's just something more that I'm never afraid to talk about and never afraid to tap into. You remember the TikTok clip of me that went viral where I was talking about how big my balls were? Yeah. And I was like, I like it to feel full and stuff like that. I have really high natural testosterone, and there's a burning desire inside of me to provide for women. Like, not loads and simp and whatnot, but just to have one and just be like, if she's submissive enough and she's feminine enough, she'll understand it and be like, I get what he's trying to do and I'm going to let him do it. And the women that let me do it, it goes a long way. And it's just like, my dad had this. Like, my dad was one of the toughest guys in the world, but you could perceive him as... you could perceive him as soft in terms of he gave too much. He'd be like always trying to book a holiday for the family. If somebody was struggling financially, he was like, I'll give you £1,000 this month, pay me back when you can. People never did. Do you know what I mean? People never did. People were always like, oh mate, I'm really, and in the end he'd go, do you know what, mate? Forget about it. It's okay. Don't worry. Like, have a good Christmas. Yeah. He was that sort of bloke, but he saw it as like providing and looking after people. I wouldn't go to that extent because I saw his mistakes in that. Yeah. But I have this like burning desire to like help, to save people. Do you know what I mean? It's weird. Like, it's the same with my community. I'm like, I want to make sure everyone's like, if another man never commits suicide ever again. And it's the same with like providing for a woman. It's almost like, I want to protect you. I almost want somebody to try and attack you so I could just jump in. Do you know what I mean? It's like, give me these opportunities, give me these moments to show my worth. I think that's what it is for a lot of men.
I think it's a Paleolithic desire, mate. I really do. I think primitive desire, as you said as well. You just have it. And the thing is as well, a lot of women, they don't have guys like that. So you can become a victim of your own success because you'll be the high level man who, you know, has got money in the bank, is in a nice place and has got the body and the desire and the emotional intelligence to really take care of a woman. But they will think, I don't like that. Because the thing is, they're so used to men being weak that they have to step up. And then when they get a sense of power and they feel a bit more independent, they don't want to relinquish it. You know, power is hypnotic to men and women. So when you come in and you're trying to step into that powerful place and let her regress a little bit and be like, no, I'll take over now. It's okay. Trust me. She won't do it. And that's because there's so many weak men and women have had to step up. That's why women feel they have this void that they need to fill in society. And it doesn't do them any good. They may think it is, and may think it does rather, but in the long run, it damages them because they're not actually being looked after in the way that they should. And I'm not saying that, I'm not shitting on women at all, but I'm not saying, all women need to be submissive. But it's like, if you had stronger men and had more masculine men and they stepped up, women would feel safer. They would feel less stressed. They wouldn't feel like they had to rush and charge through life to get what they want because, you know, men are just there, just fucking sitting on the sofa playing their PlayStation.
Well, they're compensating.
Yeah.
Women are compensating. They're becoming more masculine because they're going, if he's not going to do it, I'm going to have to do it. Whereas when she knows she's got no responsibility, she can sit back and he'll take care of everything.
They're not stupid, you know what I mean? They're going to step up and do it.
Yeah.
Like, they're not idiots. So
I had a story recently where when I went back to Granada to look after the house for like 6 weeks. When I first got there, it was before I met, you know, the other woman that I know out there. So I was dating a little bit. And I said to this one girl, I was like, I want to take you to this restaurant. I've never been. Apparently it's amazing. Michelin star restaurant. I want to take you. It's a little bit out of my budget, she said. And I was like, oh no, it's fine. Like, don't stress it. Like, I'll cover it. Whatever. Let's not make a meal of it. I'll cover it. It's fine. She goes, I don't know if I can let you pay for me. I just ignored her, never messaged her again. I can't stand that. I can't stand that. The one way to turn me off quickest is to stop me allowing you to care for you.
Yeah.
I was dating a girl from London around about a year and a half ago. It was going well, she ticked every box, she was perfect in some senses. She had a death in the family, and she was sat on her own crying to me on FaceTime. And I was like, I'm gonna come down and see you. No, I don't want you doing that because it's a long way for you to go. And I was like, I'm coming to see you. End of. I'm gonna make the 3-hour drive. I was like, that's just who I am. I want to be around you at that time. No, just kicking off so much. Just kicking off so much that like, I was just like, forget it. I was like, nobody tells me what to do. I was like, fuck that. I was like, we'll never see each other again. I was like, I'm done. Like, if you're in trouble and you need me, let me do it.
Yeah.
Let me be the man. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, it's like, women say we don't need men anymore. How does that make us feel? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a jar that needs opening from the top shelf. Like, don't climb up there and then stress about it for hours and hours. I'm 6'2", just let me grab it and rip it open and let me hand it to you. And I'll just go, there we go, babe. And in my head, though, I'm thinking, yes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, we do. As childish as it sounds, we all grew up watching superhero movies and action movies and pretending that was us.
Yeah.
We wanted to be that character. Whereas you see in like Marvel now, the woman saving the man. It's in reverse, and it's like, it doesn't work, man. People don't like it.
Yeah.
Why can't there be a female James Bond? Because if she was sleeping around, she would be a hoe.
Yeah.
She would. Like, that's just, I didn't make the rules, but that's the way it would be. And number two, it's not believable. It's not believable. Like, remember the first Equalizer, the second Equalizer film? The woman in the film's about 60 years old, and she's got like military training and stuff like that. Two big guys attack her. She uses some weapons to like scrape their leg and stuff like that, and they have a little bit of trouble with her, but eventually they beat her up. That's how it would go. Do you know what I mean? So if you're watching a female Bond, you'd be like, that's never gonna, it's not gonna check out. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, that's because it steals and the majority of the audience is male, and it steals that desire. That's why James Bond is so cool, because you're saving the damsel in distress. That's why people love it so much. Because when you switch those roles, it doesn't compute.
No.
Because we're watching it going, it doesn't really excite me. It doesn't give me that primal buzz to save the village.
Yeah.
I'll come in with the axe at the last minute and save everybody. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what every guy has built into them. It's just we don't have the landscape to be able to pull that off anymore. You can't prove yourself as a man much anymore. There's only two real ways. It's like money and probably sex. Like, you do a good job during sex and you have a lot of money. There's not many other ways now that you can really, you've got muscles, great, I go to the gym too, and like, there's police officers and cameras everywhere, it's safer than it's ever been. It's like, I don't need you. That's all we're hearing, I don't need you, I don't need you. And it's like, if a woman, like women always say, how do I get a high value man? Show him that you need him. Be like, provide for me, because what do you think he did it all for himself? You think he did it? You think he got rich and got in shape and built this massive empire and, stayed up till 2 a.m. and then got up at 5 so that he could just sit there and, wank off to his trophies? Or like collect furniture and just go, wow, look at that, look at that.
Yeah.
He did it so he could get a beautiful woman and go, I've got you, babe. Retire.
Yeah.
I'll provide for you. I'll do everything for you. And we're having that stolen from us.
We are,
it's
mate.
irritating because it feels really nice. I've got girls in my life now that allow me to do that. And I love it. Like when they say, this is really expensive. And I'm like, I appreciate that you've I won't say all of this, but I appreciate that they've acknowledged that. And I just go, it's fine. Like, just don't worry. I've got it. I'll cover it. I'm like, just don't mention it. Like, it's something I want to do for you. And it's not because I'm trying to buy you and impress you, because I have that level of wealth or whatnot. I'm like, I'm doing it because I wanted to do this anyway. And it's really fun. I've always wanted to visit that restaurant. You're just the first person that was in my mind that I'd want to take. I would have the best time with you, so I want to take you.
There you go.
That is completely different. It's not simpy. It's like, it's just some primal, I want to do shit for you. Like, otherwise, like, send me a beautiful picture of you at 2 p.m. when my energy's low. Like, I'm working on the business, send me a beautiful picture of you. It doesn't have to be lingerie, doesn't have to be sexual. Just has to be a nice picture of you or something like that. Or call me and be like, I'm thinking of you, whatever. And I'll be like, I'm going to put another 10 hours in. People don't realize it's so small.
It's all men need, honestly. Like my wife and I, we spoke about this. Like, I sent you a photo the other day when I was here. We were chatting about business, and I went home and she made a chicken curry, and it was just piping hot. We sat down and had a family meal.
I love it.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it was like,
Yeah.
it wasn't like she'd heated it up in the microwave or anything. It was like piping hot, in a bowl, ready to go, made in a slow cooker. And my son's there having dinner with me. He's eating the same as me. And we're sitting just having a family meal. And I've been
so
talking
homely,
to you about
isn't it?
business. And it's like, that's all I need. Like, I'm not saying all women need to be at home cooking and cleaning and looking after the kids. Because, yeah, you've got to do your own shit, right? Otherwise, you drive yourself insane. It's not the 50s anymore. You know, you don't have to be a housewife. But just realise that when men are doing something for you, all they need is it returned 5%, 10%. Like, they don't need gigantic gestures. All they need is, I believe in you. I'll support you.
Yeah, it goes so far.
And if you want to cook me a meal 2-3 times a week, fine. Right? Just little touches like that. Because the more you do that, the more he'll be devoted to you. Like, my missus doesn't cook for me every night. I mean, like, I'll cook once a week, twice a week, and then usually at the weekends. And then, because my son's at nursery, he has dinner there. So we get him home, we give him a snack and stuff. Me and the missus will sometimes we'll cook together. Say usually. A lot of the time we'll cook together. And sometimes we'll just get a simple food, right? We won't get any junk food or anything. Like, it's rare that we order takeaway, but we'll just get a quick meal, right? And something super easy to cook. And we won't spend time together making it. No, like a stir fry or something, it takes like 10 minutes. But those little homely things is all we really need as men, those little touches. And it's the opportunity to do stuff for her as well. Like the opportunity to cook a meal for my wife, the opportunity to cook a meal for my family, the opportunity to go out and buy something for her and then bring it back. Whatever it is, like it could just be a bar of chocolate. The amount of times I've been in the shop getting something and I'll be like, just get the missus something. Just something little, like, I don't know, a little bar of dairy milk or something. Or I don't know, a magazine or something like that. Just a simple little gesture. And it is the same for men. But sometimes it's just the words we need. We don't need all we need a hug.
I mean, honestly, I've got two examples on this. If I ever took like a woman out for a meal, and like maybe like she's my woman and she doesn't want me to cheat, which I never do anyway, but she doesn't want me to cheat. She wants to keep me and stuff like that. If we were out for a meal and, you know, she's made the best of herself, she looks great, which always helps and whatnot, and we're sat there, whatever, like you're not sat opposite, you're in like a booth, you're all cuddled up, you're having food, you're having a good time. And then, you know, maybe you pay and whatnot, and she just like looks up at you, you know, the big eyes looking up at you, whatnot, and just goes, thank you. And just gives you like a hug or something like that around the waist, or like cuddles up, gets really close to you. You know, when they like lean in, just says thank you. I'd be like, I'm going to go and conquer the world. Give me a spear. I'm going after something.
You're going to turn into Alexander the Great.
Yeah, go and get me a mammoth. I'm going to fucking finish one off. Do you know what I mean? It would just hit you, and it's like, it's just testosterone. Testosterone is the most misunderstood thing. People think it's aggression. That aggression gets transmutated into, I guess it would be production. That's how society's been built.
Yeah.
Like,
low testosterone.
Sorry to butt in, maybe. I'll forget about this otherwise. There's a book, I can't remember the book now. Oh, it is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. He said there's multiple massively successful guys that have beautiful secretaries. He was like, they've got wives too. He's like, they don't cheat. He's like, they've never cheated, but they walk into the office and go, oh my God, like here she is again. Like, and then they go into the office and just put all that energy to use. And it's like, people have no idea what power women have over men in terms of getting things done. If the whole planet was men, mate, you can get fucked thinking I'm paying for this place.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Expensive rents, expensive furniture, expensive, like we go out and buy a nice pair of shoes. I'm rocking around naked. I don't give a shit. Do you know what I mean?
String vest.
I think I'm going to like shave the hair every 3 years, whatever. Let it grow out. I don't care. Like big horseshoe bold shape. Like I don't give a bollocks. Not doing anything for like men. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, we'd have no desire. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not trying to impress each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, sometimes men...
Mate, got you a candle.
Oh, you got me a candle. Yeah. You've even lined your supplements up. Look at that.
I was hoping I was going to sell you on at least one of the three.
It's obviously a status game amongst men. Sometimes you look at a man and be like, you'll get a feeling that maybe you're superior to him or inferior to him or whatever. Sometimes, you know, but with women, it's a whole nother level. It really is a whole nother level.
And with a man, it's a competition game to stand out, to one-upmanship, to get the woman.
There you go. That's the
Do you know what I mean? It's
end
like,
game. Yeah.
You don't look at another guy and go, oh, he's like really muscular and strong. I reckon he could beat me up or something like that. It's not. It's more so like, could I protect my family against him?
Yes.
Like, is he a threat to everything that I have?
Yeah.
Could he? That's what and it all comes down to family, providing for women. It's the same thing. It's a primitive desire.
John Jones is standing in front of me. I'll be like,
I'm in trouble, man.
I'm in trouble.
I'm in trouble.
I'm a little bit inferior to you, mate.
Find a way.
But find a way to go out in a pool of blood.
BC twice and be like, there we go, 2 versus 1, go.
Yeah, but there is that kind of part of the brain with when you sort of meet a new man for the first time. Who's going to get there first? It's the sperm and the egg, isn't it? Like, it's the competition. Do you know what I mean? But with the end result, like you said, in mind is always the woman at the other side. Who's going to cross that bridge first and get to her? That's the kind of thing. So, men aren't desperately chasing women. As we said earlier, if you try and force that and trying to beat other men down to get the girl, you're just a fucking weak man.
Yeah.
And if you are aggressive constantly and you're not in control of your emotions, 9 times out of 10 you have low T. Because, the lower testosterone in men, it really plays havoc with your emotions. Like, it just throws things off. So high T men have that under control. They have the emotions under control. They can be quite stoic. And they can think about these things and think logically, how can I provide for her? How can I do this? How can I give us like subtle little hints? And yeah, you obviously can do the grand gestures like, oh, I've retired you, or I bought you this car or whatever. But realistically, what she wants in the long run is you just to notice the little details and pay attention. And as I said earlier, be present with her. I've done things for my wife, like I've bought her a nice watch and I've taken her on a holiday. She's loved those things, right? But what really lives long in her memory is me being present with her and Harrison, or me playing with Harrison and like being fully involved with him, not like having a quick break from playing with him, checking my phone, and going back. Like, she observes these things, like she notices. Or we're out for dinner and I'll pull the chair out. And it's little things like that, it's just the subtle little things.
I remember being in Cheltenham with this girl that I was dating. She just threw her arms around me and started like hugging me and kissing me. And I was like, what's that for? And she was like, there's almond milk in the fridge. And I was like, yeah. I was like, I bought it for you. And she was like, I know. She was like, but it's not just any milk. She was like, I love almond milk. She was like, which means you've gone out there thinking of me when I wasn't here and purposely gone and bought it at some point and then left it in the fridge ready for when I come over. And I was like, yeah. Like, I'm like, what? That's normal. Like, why would I studied, bro. See, that's I knew I'd get it in there. I knew. Come on. That's
drink every time you say it.
Board. That was like a Dave Chappelle joke, going full round the circle till I get it in.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I was just like, isn't that normal? But they noticed those small little things because it's like you genuinely cared. You genuinely thought of them. That's like the provider dynamic. He didn't do it for sex. He did it because he was just thinking, oh, she likes that. Do you know what I mean? They see that as like, okay, that was genuine.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're just going out and working all day and then coming home and just kind of like being tired and vacant, that's not providing. You may think it's providing because you're going out and hustling and grinding, but there's nothing wrong with locking in, right? I hate that term, but people use it all the time. Oh, we need to lock in. Nothing wrong with doing that. But when, like I said earlier in one of the videos, you have to change your hat when you get home. You have to, even though you're tired as a man, your missus is tired as well. Like, she's either been at home with the kids all day, she's been working her job, then she has to come home and deal with the house and the kids. Like, that's a lot of mental load for her. So you have to provide for her. You have to be that safe space. And if you think that you're providing purely because you're working, you're just blind to the situation. And a lot of men are like that. You mentioned awareness earlier. They're not aware. They're not aware of what's going on around them. And if you're not doing the little things for her, like, just go into the kitchen and just don't ask her if she needs help. Just do something. If she says, no, don't do that. No, I've got it. Matt tells my missus still does that. Like, I'll just do something. Like, I'll go into the kitchen, start emptying the dishwasher. It's one less thing she has to think about, right? Because I know it needs doing. And I've come down from my office upstairs. No, don't do that. I'll do that later. No, it's fine. I've got it. And then she can do something else that she wants to do. And this is the thing. Like, women will test you. Because if she says to me, no, don't do that. And I go, okay, cool, and walk off. She'll be like, well, he's not stood up for himself. He didn't really want to do that. He was just doing it for appearances. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you as a man stand your ground and say, no, I'm going to do it for you. Like, and she goes, okay. And she just lets you do it after she's rebutted. She's not going to hate you for it.
No.
She'll know that she can then rely on you to do more things because you're not doing it just to make her happy. You're doing it to actually do it and get the job done. And I see lots of guys, I've heard of lots of guys, and you see it online, people talk about it, where they will get in. The missus asks them to take the bins out, whatever, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'll do it later." Then they forget. Then she goes and does it, and he's like, "Oh, I was going to do that."
Yeah, and it's
It's
like,
like, no, you
then
just
do
forgot
it.
about it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, so don't just say you're going to do it just to kind of let her think, "Oh yeah, he is going to do it," and then not can do it. It's like, that's a little thing. And I know you've got a lot on your plate and you're a man and you're stressed and you're trying to do all this stuff for your family. But if you can remember those little things, we're not perfect, we do forget still. But if you can remember those little things 8 times out of 10, right, she will be devoted to you. Like she'll see you in a different light way more often.
And it's years later where the guy goes, "Oh, we've been together 10 years, and one day she just came to me and said she's leaving." And then the family's like, "What a bitch," and whatever, and they're
Yeah.
slagging them off. And you're like, "You've just sat and watched sports every day for the last what happened to you?" That primitive desire that we said, it's like, it doesn't go away. You don't land it and then it's done. It's like, that is your purpose on planet Earth.
Yeah.
Like I think this is something that men have lost massively. Is like women, they know they're going to get pregnant. Like they know when they're on they get to about 14, 15 years old and it clicks and they're just like, "Oh, I know I'm going to meet somebody, get married, whatever, settle down." As much as they've got loads of other plans and dreams and whatnot, that's a built-in desire you can't escape. As men, I think it's not until we go, okay, now we've got money, we've got assets, we've got some things in place, I'm becoming a provider, like you said at the start, like working in a certain job, corporate job, driving along in your nice car, going to work in the morning, it does something to you.
Yeah.
It's why I say to so many young guys, get up early in the morning, go to the gym, get well dressed, grab your coffee. You feel mature.
Yeah, you do.
Do you know what I mean? Then you head to work and you're in the office early and you're like, more than everybody, you're speaking with volume. You're like, I'm a provider. You know, whereas when you're masturbating, playing video games till 3 a.m.
Yeah.
and then you get up a little bit late and you're like, fuck, I forgot, I'm behind. Sorry, mate, I'll be there in a minute. You feel like a child. You just feel so far behind the 8 ball. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't work. And people think that it's just like, people think you do it once and it's done. It's like, she's going to leave you if you don't have that natural desire built in all the time. And that's one thing that men don't realize, that it's gonna happen over time. You become the man and then that desire clicks. It's like, it's almost like you don't know you want certain things until you've got enough money to buy them, because you're not searching for them. Like, you don't know about certain things in the world. People, I don't know about that, because you've never had that level of money to search for that thing. So, you know, with men, it's like, until you actually get to provider level, where you go, like, this was always me. I was at school and my mum said to me, "You don't date girls. You focus on schoolwork." And I was like, "Mum, I'll be honest with you, I don't want to date girls anyway." And she's like, "Why?" And I was like, "What the fuck are we going to do?" I was like, "I can't drive. I can't, like, we're not going to have sex, are we?" She was like, "Hell no, you're not going to have sex." You know what I mean? But I was like, "I can't take him on holiday. I can't." I was like, "What we do? Just hold hands and walk around town?" I was like, "It's pointless."
Yeah.
So I knew, I was like, I have to get to a certain position in life. And then when it clicked and I was there, I was like, I can make your life better. And that does something to me. I don't care if people say it's misogynistic, that's whatever, she could live without, well, go and live without me then. But I want to find the woman that goes, I need you. I want somebody who can make my life better. Women date up. And once I ticked that box, I was like, right, built my kingdom. Where's my queen? I
Love that, mate.
I don't know where that's gone. I don't know. And
That's something to explore in another video, because it's been kicked out of society. And
Yeah.
like what you said, like women can live without a man. Obviously they can, they're capable beings, but men can enhance the life as a woman can enhance the life of a man. And that's been driven out of society, because everyone wants to be equal. The men want to be the lone wolf and the woman wants to be the boss bitch and climb the career ladder and be the CEO. And it's like, if you want to do that, great, but don't pulverize men for, you know, trying to hold you back. Like, this is another thing for me. I see it a lot. No one's the enemy. Like, women aren't trying to destroy men, and men are not trying to destroy women. If women want to climb the corporate ladder and stand in the way of, get to the top, men are not going to stand in the way. Men are not going to try and bring her down and tear her down and call her a bitch and say that she's, you know, her clock's running out and she should have kids. It's like, if you want to do that and you're good enough to climb that ladder consistently, you will get there. It may take you longer. I'm not denying the fact that it can take women longer to progress in their career than it can with men, because men can be way more forceful. And because they're a man, they sometimes do get, you know, the boost. But women can do it. And same with men as well. Like, women are not the enemy to you. And if you think they are, you're just clueless. You're a weak man. Like, they're not trying to destroy your life. And if you've dated bad women in the past, sometimes that's just a reflection on you. Like, and you weren't ready. to meet her. Like your timeline wasn't ready, but don't hold on to that and think she's a bitch. All women are the same. It's like, no, they're fucking not. I'm living proof of that. I know my dad's living proof of that. Your mum and dad are living proof of that. It's like, I know so many happy relationships. And yeah, in a world of 50% divorce rates or higher, what it is now, it's very easy to look at the negative. But you need to realize that if you want this to change and you want your life to change, you need to look at the positive and then shift it in your favor, tip the scales in the favor of, say, 90% in favor of happy marriages and 10% divorce rates. Instead of thinking that you don't want to get married because divorce rates are climbing, well, stand on the other side and fucking change it then. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing stopping you.
Yeah.
Like, push yourself. Like, and then other people will see that as an inspiration and go, it doesn't have to be this way. Yeah, be a beacon. It doesn't have to be this way. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be, divorce rates are climbing, let's give up. Like, marriage is shot. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a time for everyone to marry. I'm not saying everyone should marry. But if you're seeing marriage as only a negative, like, you're deluded. Because there's this huge upside to having it in your life as well, right? There's a massive upside. And if you can stand on that side of the line, or like I said, tip the scales, and say to everyone, hey guys, as we're trying to do, like especially me, because I am married, it's like, it's not bad. Come over here. I'll show you how to do it better. And your life will be fucking incredible. So there's no enemy. Do you know what I mean? Like, women can get what they want pretty easily in life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Men are not there to fucking destroy you, rape and pillage you like they used to back in the Vikings are not here anymore. Do you know what I mean? There's twats in the world that will hate on women, but a lot of the time there are good men out there that will just go, yeah, you want this opportunity? You're more than good enough. You're more than capable. You've got it, right? That's a strong man. I would, if I was a CEO and a woman came to me, I'd want to promote her. We're like, why would I tear her down? If she's talented, why would I do that? It just makes me a bad man and a bad CEO. If I can't see the talent, I'm just a moron.
Especially if it's your benefit to raise the best people up.
Yeah.
You'd be like, you're actually worsening your business.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's the best person that's going to make you the most money, that's going to make you succeed.
This is what I mean. Like, back in the day, you can look at Wall Street and you can be like, or like the best investors in the world, like Warren Buffett, is like, he's just an old white man, and they've got power still, they've got a grip. You look at people like George Soros and the other guy from the World Health Organization, whatever his name is, and it's like, yeah, they're just all old white men and they want power, but that doesn't mean that women can't come into the equation at some point, because as a man, I don't want to be in their position. I don't want to be in the old man's position. You know what I mean? I don't want to be that person. I want to be the guy that provides for his wife and just lives a life a bit under the radar, apart from being on camera with you, of course. You know what I mean? But yeah, to have the mindset of women are the enemy and men are the enemy, I'd love to know where that has come from. And that's what's created the divide.
Yeah.
So
like, I think of my mum and dad, like there was days, like my dad had a really good year or two in business. And one of the years, not all profit, but he made $250,000. And he was fitting petrol pumps.
Yeah.
He didn't keep it because he didn't make smart investments and stuff like that. But he had one really good year where they made $250,000. I think he kept about $100,000 in the year. I specifically remember him coming through the door, like old school guy, covered in shit. He'd been working all day. Like, that petrol pump job was tough. You have to like jackhammer all the concrete out and then lift it out of there. Two of you, before there were no machines on site and whatnot. You had to like lift them out, put them up the top, repair what was going on, then lift it all back in, concrete it back in, and go from there. He said it was a nightmare. It was like engineering and stuff like that. He'd come in, long hard day, driven back in the van, $8,000 cash, because it was cash back then. Big wedge of cash. Go, there we go. Put it on the side for my mum, and be like, I've got to shoot back off. He was like, that'll keep you going for like 3 weeks. He's like, I'll be back in 3 weeks. I've got a job in Wales. And he'd just get back in the van and just shoot off. And it was just like, everybody would say, what a terrible dad. He was never there. He was whatever. That was like masculine providing. And I do think that's an extreme. I do think that's a real like
old great example.
It's almost like pimp, and do you know what I mean? Like, here's your cash. See ya. Like, take care of my son.
Yeah.
But I actually looked at that and was like, wow, like that guy is like, he probably doesn't want to be doing that. He would probably much rather be at the house. But then he would book like, and this was his downfall too, and it was one thing I had to learn about myself. He would spend on other people, as I said earlier, and he would book a holiday. My mum would always be like, are we going to save any? He was like, nah, you work to enjoy. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to spend on other people, provide for other people, and that's what he always did. Even on his, like, he was in his deathbed, like in his bed, and he's ordering shit on Amazon for me. I'm like, maybe he's got like a week left, and he's like, let's get you a coat. It's going to be cold next week. I'm like, the fuck are you doing? He's like, nah, I ain't going to spend it where I'm going, am I? Like, he's throwing the cash out like crazy. And it's like, I don't think that goes away for men. I don't think that goes away. Like, whether you're saving money, spending money, it all comes from the same point, but a different way to get there. So I'm saving money to provide at a later date.
Yeah.
I'm spending money now to provide now. It's weird. You're almost accumulating these like nest eggs to spend it anyway on other people. But I don't think people understand that about men. Men can be selfish, and I encourage them to be selfish, but that's why I've had to encourage men to be selfish, because we're not. You know, and I'm not saying all women are selfish or kids are selfish, right? They are. But I'm not saying all women are selfish, but they come from a much more self-centered point of view. They have to. It's just the way that they would survive. They have to be with the right person. They have to make all these decisions and whatnot. As men, we're very much like give. There's not a lot of, okay, I'm going to take care of myself and then I'm going to provide. It's men get a bad rap, but we've got good hearts. We've got really good hearts.
Yeah, a lot of men have.
You know, and that, once you start saying, James Sexton, I did the interview with him, he said, you start going, men are terrible, you're monsters, you're the enemy. He said at some point they go, am I? Well, fuck it, I'll show you how bad I am. He said, but really, it came from pure intentions. Like that girl, I'll take you out for a meal. Don't worry, I'll pay. And then she's like, oh, I'm not comfortable with you paying for me. You've just ruined it. You've just ruined it. Now I'm like, so the one thing that I can do in society, everything's been stripped from us. I can't go and fight a war for you. I can't go and save you and conquer you and do something crazy. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, you don't even have the dynamic in the offices anymore, which I don't think was necessarily a good thing, but like the Don Draper thing where you're like top dog and all of this is gone. One of the only things I can do for you is take you for a nice meal. You know, or get a little bit rough in the bedroom. And it's like, if you steal that from me, I have no reason to be here. You might as well be a lesbian. do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And stealing that from men, I just think is bad. And that's why I say to guys, like, be selfish early on for yourself, because you end up just, you know, it can drive you crazy. Set yourself up and then add it into your life. And you will find, like, the right woman. Like, for me, it's been women from religious backgrounds. It's been women from different parts of the world that are old school, like Morocco, Tunisia, stuff like that. It's, you know, India, whatnot. It's not been Western women because they don't get that vibe. It's not all of them. There's obviously winners still out there.
Yeah, of course.
As there's like, you know, vice versa. It goes the same for men as well. There's losers that live all around the world and winners that live all around the world. But they understand it. They're like, yeah, I know you want to do that. I know it makes you feel good and I'll let you do it. I just don't know where that's gone. And I don't know how we get it back, because for me it feels like a built-in desire. It feels like high testosterone. Maybe it's stop playing the video games. Actually get off your ass, get up in the morning, go and do something. Maybe it's stop watching porn, stop masturbating, go to the gym, lift some heavy weights. Maybe it's just get your life back in track. Dopamine saturation, reset that shit. I don't know what it is, but I just have this burning built-in desire and it's always there. When I said my balls are full and I like the feeling of, mate, I live like that. I walk around the streets and I'm just like, who can I save today? It just feels like it's there.
Yeah.
All the time I'll be looking out for things like them. I've said multiple times in multiple videos, I've always been the guy. It's happened to me maybe like 15 times in my life, right? I'm not even kidding. I'm always the guy that interrupts when a couple's, you know, like a guy's abusing a woman in the street and he's like a big jack guy or something like that. He's being really aggressive. So many people walk past. They all walk past and they go, oh, that's terrible, that is. But nobody does fuck all. And I look at it and I go, oh, here we go again. I like drop my bag and I'm like, oi, it's always me. And I look around and I'm like, what's wrong with you lot? Nobody else does anything. I'm always the only one. And I have this like built-in desire to protect. Whether it came from my dad, I don't know, but it's gone. It is gone. Nobody has it anymore.
Agree, mate. Definitely something to explore in another video. I've got a lot of theories on that, but we could talk for another hour easily. But yeah.
Part 2.
Part 2, definitely.
We'll do a part 2.